The race to parliament this year is going to be very keen. Now we're here, the way most of the young guys are really in the move, say, almost to shaping our democracy now. It's also one thing, say, this is the time for the youth. And I'm not surprised, a lot of youths are bracing themselves up to occupy various positions in our political space. And until recently, now we knew him, say, or a very vocal and instrumental in our entertainment space. On there, the founder of 3 Music Awards, any 3 Music. And what Danny where they say he wants to get to the House of Parliament on the ticket of the people of Okaikoi Central constituency, NDC. I'm talking about Baba Sadiq Abdulai Abu and Baba Sadiq Waha. But before we get into the constituency matters and issues around politics, no Zenra. As part of this conversation around McMill, you engage. Man, I'm saying friend is saying Fred Chase Mensa, Fredima, Emma Obegun, who anima sepoto. That interview I'm in the year and I never gave up. Say me engage more. Industry minds. No matter what they also think about this whole issue. And it's all well and good. Say Baba Sadiq Waha. Now me interviews, he was nodding, whether in the affirmative or otherwise. But Sadiq, akwa betting. Bibi aboko there.
Bibi aboko official pa.
I think come to
Yes.
3 Music abusu yako no hoye.
Obi hoye.
Good.
They say the 3 Music me take a step for management.
I understand.
Management I'm just a founder.
A founder.
They say I'm doing politics and then the Wonderland Foundation.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So tell us this whole McMill issue. What's your take on it? Because other industry players are making their comments around it. You've been at the helm before. You know how these things happen. Who is saying?
Well, Mimi take, is captured in the tweets that I put out on Twitter and Facebook, which is the point that I felt the presidency, was desecrated. Beyond that, I also felt there was a very serious, breach of security protocols. That was why Namiti, offer Major, the former defense minister, where at a certain level he was trying to trivialize his name, because I'm thinking, for somebody to leave the army as a major and just trivialize it in the ways that he sought to do, very surprising. Because, this is a major security breach. Maybe he hasn't had enough briefing. And it's actually even shocking, maybe as a major or somebody coming from the security services, you probably speak without much briefing. There was a drone shot in the video.
There was a drone shot in the video, yeah.
There was a drone shot.
An aerial
drone shot.
And
you trivialize it and make it seem like, it's not nothing and then we shouldn't speak about it. I'm not a security expert. But definitely, no, you've got security protocols at the presidency. The presidency, is a seat of government. This is where power is executed. This is the most important office in the country. It's occupied by the most important citizen of the country. At the expense of the president is some of the most experienced security managers you can ever have. And you think, a foreign rapper comes into the country, he gets enough access at the presidency, but wait to make a video, including even a drone shot. And you don't think it's worth actually even talking about or demanding nonsense or possibly even getting people to lose their jobs over it. We're it was a major security breach. But 2 things. The presidency cannot be desecrated in the ways it is here. A foreign rapper comes in, look at the way he was pointing to one of the major assets that has set our statehood, the coat of arms.
Yeah.
Ujina lectern nechi. Lectern no, echi no. Baby, a president in Ijina on my address when the most important issues break out in the country. Covered by no Ujina my address. It's in some ABC country most important. What to say? You're born a share on TV and the president's about to speak to us. He stands behind the lectern. A foreign rapper comes down. He stands behind the lectern. He does a video that consists of hate speech, sexual violence, and everything. Now, among for say people shouldn't ask questions. This is a major and a serious security breach. Major and serious security breach. How this happened should be something that should be thoroughly investigated and ensure it should never, ever happen. It's funny. The presidency is supposed to be a serious offense. At every point in time when publications or broadcast materials should come out from the, or that has to have the presidency in the background. And can say BBI na serious kakra, but this is, I mean, that's why me tweeted make her say, I'm very certain that maybe the president is tired. And maybe a shrine on a partner just so president. So I brand but or something. Maybe he may hand it over because this shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't happen. At what point? A lot of questions need to be asked.
That's not Koku Cancer, for instance. President Nidia, he cannot be held responsible, but the handless, you know.
It will be a fair no. The principle of ultimate liability, right? The buck stops with him. He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So whatever security person that was there, he's their commander-in-chief.
So you think that the president was notified, say, beyond on engagement, there's going to be a video footage?
No, my point is, whether he was notified or not, everything that happens at the presidency, the buck stops with him. And so that's why on one kasankasa, and no pay, and the country agrees and gives him the power to ensure, say, he's got the most experienced security professionals in the place to ensure, say, and so if he, with all the powers that he's clothed with, decided to have very porous security around him to a point where there will be such a major security breach, you could blame me why. You could blame me why. The poor head of security who probably allowed it because his president's daughter is involved. You could blame me why. And this is the point that I'm saying, that if the president is serious enough, if the president had shown that he's a serious president enough, he would have ensured that around him are people that are also serious and aligned to his principle of seriousness. But if he's a very lax president, if he's an unserious president, definitely we'll get some of these scenarios that is playing out. It's Yanko blaming why. The buck stops with him. So this is wrong. This shouldn't have happened. And by now, explanation should have started happening. By now. Because as a country, what essentially we're saying is that, one, you're sending us a signal that you are not a serious president. You're sending a signal that with all the powers and all the investment that has been made in security to ensure that home buy and everything, it can be laxed. Where did the investment go? Yeah. Where is all the people that have been put at your expense to ensure that you are protected and you are safe? And so it raises serious questions of irresponsibility on the part of the president and the security detail and all the people in charge of the security protocols at the Flagstaff of the presidency. This is so wrong, should never happen, and we need to get to the bottom of it to ensure, because I mean, really and truly, it is totally wrong.
No, but Baba Sadiq, my mention why you see commentary nibisu because and I've repeated this several times and they say it was an unfortunate interview and Fred Chim Mensenya at a point we had to just take him off the line because now I mean he sort of disagreed with some of the issues I was putting up to him, and he was of the opinion say this one demystifies what's around the presidency. Say it's a no-go area, it's a dangerous area near there, and also puts it on the tourism map. Say we are that hospitable.
A very funny and laughable response, and I have a lot of respect for Uncle Freddie, but I mean, this response from him,
boost your tourism.
I'm scandalized, and this is why I'm scandalized. Why would you want to demystify the seriousness around the presidency? It is a very serious place. Yeah. Serious business is supposed to be taking place there. So what do you want to demystify it? To what extent? What is the objective of trying to demystify it? What are you trying to show to the world? That your president is not serious, that the security around your president is so porous and relaxed that a foreigner could come in
so
and
accessible, easily accessible.
That place is actually a no-fly zone.
Yeah.
And he flew a drone shot. And with all the drone shot, funny drone shot in it, footage, what is he talking about? And be it as it's me. Yeah. If you wanted to boost tourism in this particular country, and you're very actually even serious about it, there are too many tourist sites that need attention, that need marketing, and need people to go there. Beyond that, if indeed you wanted to boost tourism, December, only a number of Ghanaian artists on my show. Yeah. It is the activities of these Ghanaian artists, Samini, Sarkodie, Shatawali, Stoneboy, Black Sheriff. It is the activities of these artists over time and it's asserting a holiday maker status in the country. over time, including all these people, including even the person that actually even brought him McMill to come and perform in the country in the first place. So it was private people that design maybe they invest in things and everything. So if you really wanted to boost tourism, and wouldn't you rather these are the people you bring to the presidency and give them presidential privilege, just as a way of patting them on the back and saying, say, every December, even with no or little efforts and enablement, support, mutimi. Make all this investment and amount for free amount and they want to come back again. So you guys come to the presidency. Let me just even give you a pat on the back and make certain assurances to you towards how I can develop and enable your industry. Don't you think that these are the people that you should give preferential access to? But the question that I'm asking right now is, I'm thinking from the commentary that is being talked about, the president's daughter, and I don't call her, she's supposed to be working for the Creative Arts Agency. I'm asking very serious questions now. The Creative Arts Agency is under the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture.
Yeah.
If the agency head, whose supervising minister is a minister of the sector, has to organize a courtesy call, regardless of whether she's a president's daughter or not, to the presidency, and you don't think that it should be done with recourse to the ministry?
It should be.
Was that done?
It should be.
Quite clearly, you could see they are not involved. Me, but no, say, oh, Mark Muni Nankasa. Yeah, it's good. But I'm thinking, me and Mark and the president's daughter roughshod over my ministry, my sector minister, and went to see the president with Onona down for Abba, and there's this major breach. Me, I'm in did she go through them?
No, so they should make
the question I'm asking is that the question I'm asking, NNC,
they were bypassed.
Yes, and do you think that an NNC boss?
Good.
Or person organize a courtesy call with the president, he will do it without recourse to Osla as Minister of Communications.
No.
I mean, and so these are some of the things that a lot of people, government people raise regarding, governance experts raise regarding conflict of interest. You see where we're going now? It's raising a lot of serious breaches that shouldn't happen going forward. So quite clearly, because of President Bano, even if she's working for a particular agency under a particular ministry, she could just go to see her father with this without recourse to the same FSN. No. But this has very, very serious matters and should not be trivialized in the ways that the major was trying. I was shocked, scandalized that a major of the army would want to just trivialize it like this. This is a serious. A drone was flown at the presidency by a third party. Hey, now you don't you see that there's a no friend saying there?
Yeah,
a drone, a third party aircraft or whatever was flown above the presidency, and everybody thinks it's fine. And beyond that, if you're going to the presidency, there's somebody that are ball heavily. More Juma in the media. Periodically, you are given opportunities to bring your broadcast equipment at our presidency. Yeah. But on request and for special programs like press engagement. Apart from that, try and carry your cameras there and see.
You'll be denied access,
Almost 2 years ago, a state Ministry of National Security Caleb and Kuda,
the city of
apparently he was filming the crash. You saw how he was manhandled and arrested and moved in that Rambo style. How much more the presidency, which is actually supposed to be priority and the most important establishment in the country, far above that installation or coin. And so this is very wrong, and it should not be taken lightly. The investigation should happen. I like the approach the MPs are going in Parliament in terms of seeking for the right answers. The National Security Minister, because obviously anybody that's at the presidency in charge of defense and should also set some level of the professionals, or obviously they are at the expense of the National Security Minister. And so questions should be asked. The safety of the president should be top priority to all of us. And so if there's any major breach and there are issues and ways that it raises eyebrows, we need to get to the bottom of it and ensure that subsequently these things shouldn't happen again.
So in your dealings with artists, management, and your dealings within the entertainment industry, has it happened before? Say, outside, the artists you want to seek, for instance, key to Massachusetts. I mean, how does it apply? Is it likened to what transpired in Ghana here? No, is it that easy?
If you travel outside and you go to meet any public official, you are chaperoned because public service isn't just a walk in the park. Beyond that, if you've got to meet Opinimbi and Zankasa, there's a reason why in Penyufoni Nahano, they put a lot of protocols in and around them, including how in the maze and manner and the venues where you can meet them and how it actually should actually even be dressing.
Okay.
Because it's governance issues are very serious issues. It's not the work in the park. Yes, entertainment. You want to create entertainment content. I'm all up for it. But when you have to put the presidency in this light and in the background that it happened, nobody would. You are chaperoned. There's a reason why you aren't sorry if you are a public what's it called a figure. Yeah. You're on radio. Would you say you can just wake up and walk in and go to talk to the president? No. You are chaperoned. You have to go through a process. You have to go through protocols.
Somebody has to do the facilitation.
Somebody has to do the facilitation and must tell you the things, the do's and don'ts for you to be able to do that. That's why we call presidency, or you go to a fence and they have metal detectors where you put your communication gadgets down, you go through the metal detectors and everything, because as part of the presidency work, and I fence you may have some conversations that are probably confidential. Some conversations, presidency, you know how they go about it. His comms people will put it out in the ways that they want to put it out and consistent with the conventions and the and applicable protocols.
And all that, yeah.
So what I say. But he goes in there, he does what he wants, he goes through the areas where beyond the metal detectors, he goes in with all the communication devices. He gets enough time to himself to shoot a whole music video, including drone shots. This is a very, very serious matter. This is a very, very serious matter. And nobody should make this case about offense. And look, if really they are serious about encouraging terrorism, I've given you an example of how the people that actively invest in the activities that are set our holiday maker status in the country every December should actually be prioritized. What to say Afro Mumpu? Rapper Alex Sakoda only 10 years. If really you wanted to Bonabaso and everything, and it's about the talent, he's there. Samini is there. Why you know Samini first? Fantastic event, Stoneboy and everything. So what I said. So, and then even in December, by now, a lot of conversations around this is how we're looking to enable it. I mean, the country, tourism in the country, there's a projection said by 2025, tourism should be able to contribute $4.3 billion to the country, which means that it's a very serious offense industry.
Sector,
the idea currently, there is talk that it's the number 3 contributor to the GDP, and it's expected, say, by SAR 2025, and it will move up to number 2 beyond our agriculture and our hydrocarbon resources. So 4.3 billion is significant. If you're looking for 3 billion from the IMF and you have a projection of an industry that potentially could deliver $4.3 billion to you, it's a very significant. So I'm all up for it. But that doesn't mean, say, the fact that we can enable tourism, it means people should be allowed to come and desecrate the presidency, desecrate our sovereignty, and then, engage in such serious security breaches. This is not, and that's why I'm scandalized and shocked, but not surprised with the feedback that Uncle Freddie Mamu.
Yeah, I get you. So Abu Sadiq Newahan, Baba Sadiq, whichever way you call him, is still the same manner or no founder of 3 Music. Now, until now, we never knew, sir. I mean, he's also into politics. I feel no order in the political acumen, no Eddie. But tell us about your roots in politics and in the NDC and Okaikoi Central constituency. I mean, when did this whole political agenda start?
Well, in Okaikoi Central, I've been a member of the NDC for such a long time in Okaikoi Central. Now, in Okaikoi Central, you're of Fadama.
Okay.
Also, na minini cool school or Haru in Abeka. So, Fadama and Abeka and the immediate environs, I'm quite known there. And then obviously, right from there, and I share Mejuma in media. I mean, almost about 2004, thereabouts, when I started my work in the media industry. Worked variously in the background as a producer, innovations executive, events person. At a point in time, I became the programs director. At a point in time, maybe I had programs director and executive producer of Viasat One, which is a very major channel.
Yeah, I
remember. And there as well, I was in charge of almost all the programs. I mean, the current affairs programs, the political programs, the entertainment programs, and all of that. My background really is communications. I did a bit of law as well. And then now I'm more into sustainable development, mainly amplifying issues in ESGs, environment, social, and governance.
Good.
Which is, a major part of what I'm also doing now. And then along the line, sometime as well, I just founded Three Music, which has the Three Music TV channel, the Three Music Awards, and then the Wilderland Festival. I also brought a boom play into the country, which is a very major OTT or entertainment app that also drives value for industry. So within the media entertainment industry, I'm an entrepreneur that invests in creating platforms.
Good.
But in society, I do a lot of social work because I do it with a certain level of social impact.
Okay.
So by my society, for instance, every December, creating every Salah, that economic system around the Salah Carnival. I do that. Beyond that as well, I provide a lot of training for your constituency, for some of the constituency people that are looking to create sustainable livelihoods through Ensejuma.
Okay.
Sano Juma, yes. And so I've been a member of the party for some time. And in 2020, I was appointed as a spokesperson for tourism, art, and culture for the 2020 manifesto campaign. In Timine, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we traveled quite well. I think I went on the campaign, me and Nuno call about 8 regions. I've been traveling. I was in Bono East, I was in Western North, in Western region, Central region. And in the call, a lot of it also gave me an opportunity to see the campaign in very, very good ways. It gave me a lot of experience and insights into, when the call came from my people who had seen me grow, come up, build myself, become a reputed professional, and then obviously also seeing what I was doing politically, having rose and became a campaign spokesperson for the 2020 campaign. It obviously was a strong point for them to say, they think that after a long time of not having an MP from the NDC stock in Okaikoi Central, it's time for us to have an MP. For a long time now, I think from the 2020 time, campaign time, that was when a lot of them, after elections, they started to talk to me about the fact that this time around, going to 2024, MPPC, MP, MPPC, MP. So, so when we in Kitahon, Mudin Komono, and most of them were saying, almost share from 96, but ABCCCano. If you look at all the people that eventually be DMP now, they've got certain qualities that they see in me and more.
Wow.
And so they felt, these qualities, is what would help the NDC in Okaikoi Central win. Now I'm on that journey to give my people the humble request nearby. I'm on the journey to work with all of them to ensure we achieve that objective.
Fantastic. Okaikoi Central, no. Here comes your man, Baba Sadiq, or no say this time, friend, my friend, no. Watina Supem, na or the Osiabeyo, you're not feeling, what contest, the seats, the Amamo. But are they giving it to you on a silver platter? And I say, there's going to be an internal primaries that somebody will likely contest you, looking at your pedigree,
well, there's an internal primary, sir. By all means, NDC believes in the concept of comradeship.
Good.
Social democracy. No, at every point in time, the concept is that regardless of status, we are all equal and the same, and work towards the same objective. I think it's allowed. As it stands now, I know there are about 5 more people that may contest alongside me. But I've always not had things rosy.
Okay.
I've always worked hard for it, and it's kind of built me up.
Good.
And giving me that thick skin and that strength of mind to be able to work hard and prove myself to the people. So I'm on that journey, starting from the internal party. There are about 1,200 delegates where I'm on the journey to prove myself to them, to let them understand, more in the media industry. We share my professional competence. We share how I am driven, the excellence to which I come with. We share Juma year in the 2020 when I was a campaign spokesperson and everything. And obviously, if we add it to the call of the people and the things they found in me, which they connect to, the fact that they want an MP and not a PC now, I'm out there to prove to them, indeed, I'm the MP in waiting. And so we should all work together. Obviously, if they give me the mandate after the primaries in May, we're all going to work together. We'll work hard. We'll put in every available resource that's most important to ensure that we'll win the seat. It's important for particularly Okaikoi Central. Now, your assembly opinion be no, okay, and it was heartwarming, even though it was sad. But I wanted to do it for them. Your opinion formed with the NDCH in the Okaikoi Central constituency for so long, for 96 ABC, they've never had their own MP. And one of them said that at least, for what he's saying, he wants me to at least win the primaries, and even before he dies, he wants to see an MP emerge from the NDC in Okaikoi Central. And I gave him my word, say, and once he prays for us, and once the party needs Jituma, because I'm very hopeful and confident, say, the entire party structure, because on my break, the party in the Okaikoi Central, my break for so long in 1996, from 1996 till now, worked so hard every now and then when they get closer. So I think they are tired, and they are also equally looking to have that MP and not a PC. And so I'm very confident saying, my mandate,
But looking at the political terrain and you coming on board, I'm asking this because politics, there are a lot of machinations. For instance, you coming in, maybe somebody might think, so will be a free entertainment field ever into politics. Maybe I know a novice. Until we can even scheme our way through in terms of the album, in terms of delegates and all that. Sir, are you well grounded in them to handle it well? A bit to me, I go fairly at the amount.
Obi Onimi Bia will tell you, say, if you underrate Baba Sadiq, you underrate it to your peril. I'm not just an entertainment person.
Good.
There are conversations that you started that related to governance, that related to, look, have any conversation with me, you'll be shocked. Mekai 2020 manifesto on Twitter, when I do some of the engagement, when you're into music and entertainment,
you are new film.
You are new film. Stay in your lane.
And can be.
I knew some guys who knew me very, very well. They are the presidency, the president's council, for instance. He would tell them, say, "Hey, don't make a mistake. This guy is just an investor in the media and entertainment industry. He's all sorts. Easily bring about any conversations on economics, you'll be shocked. Bring about conversations on law, you'll be shocked. Bring about, and so." I keep telling people that the way I'm structured and wired, I'm not really wired for media and entertainment. Be it as it's me, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman in the media and entertainment industry, where I direct investments, I direct teams, I build value that could provide employment to a lot of people. That's what I say. And beyond that, wherever we pass for me to be appointed from the constituency, to be appointed as the campaign spokesperson in 2020, it should tell you, say, there is some security credential and the machinery that I can build at any point in time to ensure, say, it works for me, works for the party, and works for the constituency. So I am made up for this. Fortunately, there are some very hard-working men and women in the constituency, some from within the party itself, that also share in our objective, and are looking to work with us to ensure, say, one more time after a long time, we have somebody that we can build a machinery around. We can have national prominent faces of the party, somebody that can marshal every available resource to ensure, say, the party stays stronger, the party is well-oiled, and we have a very effective campaign that would ensure, say, the NDC becomes victorious in 2024. So I'm up for this. I've been around, so I've been working with a lot of people. And so I'm sure there are a lot of people that saw the results that came out from the internal Congress in Okaikoi Central, for instance, will look at it and say, well, this is not somebody we should toy with. But every time I tell them, say, definitely for the level of things that I've done and to the point that I've gotten and the number of projects that I've run, you should never just look at me and just assume things. Anybody.
Wow.
And I'm sure even the MP in the constituency will tell us. Sometimes when he reacts to me, I'm sure some people will say, but we need primaries in prayers. But he knows. I'm sure he knows very well. One, he knows where I come from. Yeah, he knows very well. He knows where I'm coming from. He knows the stuff I'm made of. So if he reacts to me, it means his perhaps have seen something.
No, but how would you describe the constituency? Is it something that favors you? Maybe you made mention of Fadama. Fadama is just one zone within the constituency.
So, who's that make catch you say?
Good.
Your woman, I mean, she's new Fadama, but I schooled in Abeka.
Okay.
Harrow. Harrow me, Hona me share me primary as art or JSS3. And so I know that area quite well. Know a lot of people. The constituency has about 4 voting blocks. You know, there's majorly the Akan voting block, there's a Zongo Muslim voting block, there's a Ewe voter block, and then there's a Ga voter block.
Which of these blocks dominate?
Nina is almost there's almost a balance for it.
Okay.
There's almost a balance. But what I'm saying is that I have 4 voting blocks in Nano. I appeal to them. One, of course, I was raised up by a stepmom who is also a Khan and Ewe, you know, in Fadama, even though she converted to Islam. That's my stepmom, raised me. So I've got extended families that are sometimes on, some on the Ewe side, some on the Akan side. And because I understand the ethics of living with them, and because I schooled extensively in Harabekano, I knew a couple of the people that they are Kohus, they are Shanties, they're in the area. So I resonate and mix with them quite well.
Wow.
You know, and so it's not a problem. I think I resonate with them. And then obviously I think the constituency, they're about the majority of the voting population in the constituency are young people.
Yeah.
Young people that see the things that I'm made of. Young people that see my achievements in the media industry. Young people that are inspired by the work that I do. Yeah. And regardless of whether they are coming from any of the 4 voting blocks, will be moved by seeing that, okay, if this young person from Najim has been able to build things that has grown to create massive employment for people and continue to drive value for society, it means, we can go with him knowing fully well, so this is another young person that understands us young people. This is another young person that understands the needs of the constituency. First and foremost, because I understand the needs of the people. Such as I understand the needs of the people. And most importantly also, even for the party going into the primaries, understand the number one objective on the heart of the party people. Because when you go everywhere, interact with them, they tell you. Everybody says one thing. We don't want a PC. We want an MP.
Yeah.
And most of them say the qualities that all the MPs that have come and gone have. You have that and more. And so definitely no. That's one of the things that obviously gives me a certain added advantage.
Good.
So I'm very confident, say, any people that cares about the social development needs of the people of Okaikoi Central, regardless of any of the 4 voting blocks that you're coming from, we vote for me. Because, I mean, from Ufi Nyamiche traffic light, Achimoto overhead, descend down to, what's the place called? Abeka Junction, Abeka, CMB, come back. There are one things that people want. The people want to be able to create sustainable livelihoods for themselves. They want that much needed social infrastructure. Understand all these things. Or taking the message to the party for the primaries, first and foremost. Praying and working heavily to ensure that they give him the mandates. And then obviously from there, we can build it on it, take the campaign to the MPP, ensure that we deliver a very superior messaging, superior promises on the basis of the needs of the people. Yeah. And then with that, win the mandate and then deliver it for them.
Wow. So Baba Sadiq na, this interaction with Pahuada Benson, a very fantastic young man what rise through the ranks or self-made. And for me, I always keep saying this, if you are looking out for an MPR, look out for somebody or self-made already. No bia parliament on or de kwa kopenyanam. Sankrofo no yehu o matra na yenko sa line bio. Obi ono wabo ne brother da or dene ho. Ono sa no se wuyi no so nkosi wa na mo mrahye bedwafie a onim ne oye. Enya brahye bedwafie ho na because ene ya yekodi bro nya MPC esu ewo bro nya ade ho kra no. Na buza won say na ne okwaje so aye den. And if you have somebody like Baba Sadiq say or person obey an MPR, it's all well and good because he's already self-made, and and already the job is on the ground. Jumani, he's already into it. So kaso obeje ne kesia na swano ya na yendine chinye. But Baba, I'm going through the 2020 election results, and I'm looking at the difference of almost about 9,000.
Yes, 9,000.
I mean, do you think, sir, Okaikoi Central for NDC the 2 minimum it's something you can overturn and win? That's margin over to me.
Very. In fact, one of the internal researches I myself and my team have conducted has shown, say, and then it's consistent with one that has been done by the party itself, say, one of the 5 extra seats that the NDC can safely win in Greater Accra, one of the prominent ones is Okaikoi Central. Now we have voter results, we have parliamentary, we have presidential results now.
Yeah.
It's a skirt and blouse.
Yeah.
A skirt and blouse in the constituency. Now, if you track the voter results again from 2012, now you check constituency was initially a part of Okaikoi of NHMU in 2012 to Okaikoi Central. You would notice one thing. You would notice if you base your projections on the presidential FNC,
The results are
the voter deficit in the constituency would always hover around 3,000, which is easily tenable. The voter deficit, actual voter deficit, would hover around 3,000, which is easily tenable. So consistently, there's been skirt and blouse. What it also tells you is that the brand of the party in Okaikoi Central is very strong. The brand of the party, because if we were getting this voter deficit for presidency, which is at variance with our voter deficit or parliamentary
now,
it means that very strong. It also means say it to me maybe first and foremost, the choice of candidate is very good. We need a candidate that resonates with these 4 voting blocks very well. A candidate that understands the needs of the people from the constituency. A candidate that relates with the people and can take the campaign to them. A candidate that you can easily package and sell. So I say,
you can easily package and sell.
Exactly. A candidate that you can easily package and sell. Because you would understand from the presidential results, and they say the brand of the party is strong. When you have the candidate that has all these qualities of easy to package to sell, a candidate that's knowledgeable and insightful enough and has the professional reputation, because look, for 96, the comments and a buy. The comments had certain things that worked for him. Yes, I then were Cratchy. I think he was a lawyer. He had that professional reputation, and then he came into it, and then he won the election. On also he had 2 terms, 2004. 2004 when Elizabeth Saki came, when it was Okaikoi Nov, she had something that was going on for her. The fact that she could listen to the people, the fact that she also had a professional reputation and had a certain humility, it worked for her. But in 2012, something remarkably different happened. 2012 was about the first time where in the constituency at Yacheno, there was a dynamic shift where, unlike before, the older voter population, to a large extent, determined the direction of everybody's opinion, because they were the opinion leaders, and when they say they are going into this path, usually everybody goes there. But in 2012, we also saw a situation where we had a lot of the younger people and their needs, particularly younger people and man or women, determine the voter direction. Because the man can say, Abranti, what is said, we like him. In Kwaransu, can say, his messages about providing employment and jobs for us works for us. We like him. So it began, and then obviously you would have a lot more of the older male population thinking that, okay, well, if the major development needs of young people and women are addressed, then they'll go. So 2012, they started to tilt towards that. Then NPP brought in Obama, who was a younger person, as I am now. So we need a younger person as I am now, had the boyish. He's no more a youth.
I know.
Had that boyish looks and then soft spoken, and I'm sure it worked for them. But now more than ever, the NDC has got that and more. You've got a younger person who understands the texture of the constituency, a younger person who knows the needs and problems of the party people in the constituency. Because the party people, they'll tell you, one, the main reason why they want a PC and not an MP is because there are a lot more of them that only depart in nature for so long that want to feel that reward of having to work for a PC first and foremost. And secondly, ensuring, they have somebody that is there that can take care of them.
Wow.
Because the party people need to be taken care of. They need to be, because we don't want a situation where, into the election. Obviously, you have somebody that he sits on manifesto committees, your campaign spokesperson, and so definitely, this is such the person where Oba, party in power, which and we are coming to, God willing, with all the life that we have. You would have somebody that knows almost everybody that will form the next government, that will be serving major roles in the government, to the point where when they need for things that will take care of them, he can drive it. So these are all factors and everything that I think that gives me a certain level of upper hand. And most importantly, also as an entrepreneur and a businessman, I think I have what it takes to be able to marshal whatever needed resources it is to harmonize our base.
Resourceful
rally.
wise,
Of course, because I'm an entrepreneur. I
Good.
mean, what I do is I put in, last year when we did Waterland Festival, I put in almost $2 million.
Good.
The Shatawali Crabbe can or Friends Radios or $120,000 which means that I'm somebody who is resourceful enough.
Good.
I'm somebody that will be at a point where I can raise that much needed resources to put into a campaign to ensure, say, the NDC will remain stronger and the NDBC will win the elections.
Me no ka say Miami mate and the Dusty or the message about or say senior sack raceway no ye nyina ye de ho bagim na ya make sure say Baba becomes an MP because ya onkrofo ni bi o ho a ye no omo anante a che omo koye MPs nso ye nyamfa so bi am free so nti we de also obi o creative arts ni mu bia no eso de ne ho gym to ensure say one of our own becomes a legislator.
And this is one of those major elements I'm making about say.
Good.
When it comes to me, it doesn't matter which of the blocks you come from.
Good.
There's one thing that everybody knows: excellence. There's one thing everybody knows: giving.
No,
back
for
to
those of us who have followed you, we know what
so,
you are capable of doing.
yes.
You know exploits, and we appreciate you for those.
Thank you.
Now, you know what you can do if given a greater opportunity.
Thank you.
And we just hope and pray. We know your early days yet. We know your the introduction. We'll hit your constituency proper.
Yes.
Yes. Now, no, your bahwa. Ya ni amanfo na nkasa aba besi nkunya ne aka nsem no akire wo mo. And finally, what message would you share with your constituents from near and far about you launching this bid? It might even come as a surprise to them. Say, hey, Papa no so MP obedi no. What do you have to share with them?
Well, the catch on will say, I can understand some of the challenges the constituency has faced, but transformational leadership is coming.
Good.
A more people-centered person is coming. A more development-oriented person is coming. And the key goals would be to ensure, say, the constituents, young people, women, and defense of the constituents would have sustainable livelihoods. And the most importantly, I will ensure and work for them to drive that social infrastructure that's needed to improve the quality of lives of the constituents. For Party 4, they should understand one thing. That answer of we want an MP and not a PC, God willing, after we get the mandate, we would answer it in 2024. Most importantly, that most important part where the party people, the branch executives and everything want to be taken care of, properly taken care of when the party comes to power. No, that answer is here. We want to answer it and going forward ensure, say, party people, everybody will be properly taken care of. At least you're going to have one of your own actually being out there and working with you to ensure that everything that you need comes to you as well in the constituency.
Na kahauza kakre.
Kahauza training kind.
Oh, good. I have flow. Obi anya ne dia kakra wo.
Kunna kujina duka daga Okaikoi Central, young Fadama, young Abeka, na wurin na kuke duka tesano apenkwa na muku gaisuwa na kuke ga Baba Sadiq muna zuwa muka ba ni balle wannan kuke cikin NDC kungiyar NDC daga Okaikoi Central muna zuwa primary singa na zo wajinku in aka bude nominations na mun zo mu yi fira mun zo kawo campaign da messages ku tambaye ni questions na kuke so duka amma ku gane abu guda kaman abu gudan ne ke kan zuciyar mu duka which is to ensure kaman in 2024 za mu yi nasara sosai nan wannan abu mu achieve shi amma mun fara aikin kenan in aka bude ya sunan shi nan namu zo mu yi engagement proper engagement mun yi aiki sosai ni da kuno da mu yi aiki mu ensure kaman nasaran nan mun samu nasarar nan mu duba kanmu da kyau mu kula da yan party first of all kuma mu kula da yan constituency wannan duka ya happen don shi mun zo muna zuwa ku saurare mu muka zo ba mun samu wannan mun doki wannan ya sunan shi engagement muka yi wannan engagement duka ya tanye mu
to ma yana Baba Sadiq say for coming na good.
Before constituency was no
good.
I said omote
okay.
Me call me pinimbi honomo. Penny be on Mr. Tito. Mibisani say, Mikochiano Bisani say, and you be an Dino, a tracing, and my statement back. Or say, the Dino comes from a statement who say, Jagbagba, Nashi Nakutao. Nashi Nakutao. And no say, strive for yours.
Okay.
Strive for yours. And Adebiano is become a very core part of because the team in Crawford in Okaikoi Central, we're here without me. Me I wanna phone na before no move voter region without the voter block on any. Into me no more. Into no. Me mama want to say in 2024 no. Okaikoi Central NDC. This time around we are going to strive for hours.
Okay. It's
been long in coming, but in 2024 we are going to Jagbagba na Shina Kitao.
Wow. Baba Sadiq na Oten in Kano na. I just told you, said these early days, we'll hear the constituency proper na fe. Yatuan Komone so every